What's up, dudes and dudettes? This is another episode of A Few With You. Today we're just going to cover how to check the value of a website, only because this came up in discussion the other day on a group that we belong to called Talk Tech Flagler. Nancy, this video is based off of your comment. You don't even know that I'm making this, so hopefully you dig it. But either way, I had posted something in regards to how Google was getting rid of the PageRank attribute. So for those that are still using it or had been using it recently, we knew in the search world that this was a variable that we weren't using to really understand the good value of a website anymore as of a while ago. But if you had been using it, I'm going to show you some ways that you can work around that to not only get a good value of what a website is doing online, but also if you're in a position of either selling a site or purchasing a website. But either way, let's jump right into it. First and foremost, I use a plugin called SEO Quake. It's a plugin that can be used with Firefox. Once it's on, it can kind of get tucked in anywhere you want on your toolbar. But most importantly, once you pull up a website, it's going to allow you to click on it and pull up these variables. And I'll just briefly go over some of them, not every single one of them, but most importantly, the Google index. What this is indicating is how many pages are on the website. Now, some people may say, well, I know I have more pages than 3, so why is it saying 3? Well, these are some of the areas that we would start to look in from a search engine optimization on page areas. So if there are more than 3, then there's definitely something critically wrong with the site. Maybe there are no follow attributes on some of the pages. Some things can't get crawled, etc. So that's something to look into. The same thing works for this Bing. And then another tool is called SEMrush. What this is going to do is give us a good in-depth analysis of how many keywords the website ranks for, give or take. Sometimes it's off by a few, sometimes the exact rankings are a little off, but overall it gives us a good idea. And then another cool tool is called Web Archive. What this is going to do is to let us know how long has the site been alive, what has it been before it was, this particular type of business. Was it an e-commerce before it was a blog? Really, really important for people that are going to be purchasing a website and want to know, is there a lot of validity behind it? So let's dive into it. So one of the first things that I did with your website, Nally, I hope I'm saying that right, is looked at your keyword volume, and once again I'm using a tool called SEMrush, and it's pulling up now. This is not a bashing session, so if you think you're ranking for more, or if it's not showing things that you think it ranks for, that's okay. This is once again just a rough idea, but overall the keyword that it's pulling you for is, I believe, your name. You rank 41st spot, which the SERPs are usually about 10 per page. So this is about 4th page Google, first spot, and one of the things is as you start to get more keywords, you'll understand the volume behind it, and you'll understand what the CPC is. So that's about cost per click if you were to actually want to pay to come on the AdWords section of it. But so I look at that, and then another thing is the Internet Archive. That's something that's really cool. It shows me that this URL started to get cached back in 2013. And I can also go back and look at timestamps of what this site was. So I get asked all the time by people that are purchasing a website, is this website good? Is it something long-term? And if I can go back and see back in, January, back here, 2013, it was, unfortunately, it was an adult-related website or a poker website or something that Google wouldn't want ranking first page if it was financial or something to really help society. That's something that we can look into and say, this URL might not be our best option for purchasing and or website. But once again, still good for seeing how much value is behind it. Now let's go back to the other area that I had showed you before about maybe this number is off. So a cool way of finding out how many pages are on a website and what those pages are doing is go to Google and type in site semicolon. I'll actually just do it here for you guys. Just type into Google site semicolon in the URL. Disregard the HTTP, all that jazz, and just take that and then go ahead and hit search. And what's really neat is this is exactly how many what pages are being cached and crawled and indexed on Google. So we've got the home page, we've got a subpage called Craft Critique, and another subpage called Advertise with Us. So this does give me a clear indication that the site is about 3 pages, and even when I did navigate through the site, it didn't look like there were more than those anyways. Now, this entire time you'll notice I haven't even looked at the site from an aesthetic standpoint. That is because the aesthetics and the overall the way the website looks does not really value it. I mean, just by the looks of it, I know that it's got a good call to action above the fold. It seems to be responsive, which is good. And most importantly, those are completely different variables that go into the, a website can change the way it looks and feels 100 times over. So those things I don't get too caught up on, and know that that's completely a different another game. That's CRO, conversion rate optimization. Maybe people want our sites to be on the right, with either way, but that's kind of a real quick tutorial on how to take a website, see what its values are, and I'll end on something. I'm not a link builder. There's a lot of people that build links on purpose. I like to let links be built naturally, but you'll notice I'm using another plugin here called it used to be SEO Moz, now it's Moz, Moz.com, and what this does is it indicates how many links are coming in from all throughout the web and pointing to the site. Now there's a page that there's links that are pointed to the actual page, and then there's links that are pointed to the root domain. So this gives me another idea of, okay, if I were to build a website and this were to be a competitor of mine to some capacity, what am I faced up against? How big is the site? Is this something that if this was ranking first page for this keyword, can I outrank her or can I help her? But either way, I hope that this helped. Nancy, once again, I used you as our talking point today. I hope you don't mind, and I hope this was helpful. All right, guys, take it easy.